Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm editing this video and I totally forgot to record an intro, so I'm so sorry about that. But this video is basically just on my 5 favorite exercises that I've been using to grow my glutes. Now there are tons and tons of exercises that you can do, but these are just 5 that I've noticed have made a huge difference. I do them every single leg day and they've made a huge difference in my glutes. And I also forgot to say in the video that if you want to grow, you have to fuel your body for it. So you will be having to eat in a surplus, so more calories than you burn in a day if you want to grow your glutes. No matter how hard you train, if you don't eat enough, your glutes won't grow. So that's just something to keep in mind. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's get into it. So the first movement is going to be a hip thrust. This one has been a game changer on my journey to grow my glutes. I set this up by grabbing a box or anything that I can lean on. I personally like to use a 12-inch box. You want to be able to lean your shoulder blades on the box comfortably so you feel supported. Then you'll set up a barbell with bumper plates or 45-pound plates so that it is lifted off from the floor and you're able to sit under the barbell. Using a barbell pad or foam mat, you're going to place that on your hips to protect yourself from the barbell. Now you're going to start by simply thrusting your hips upward, holding the bar with an overhand wide grip just to keep the bar stable. Some cues to keep in mind are to keep your chin tucked and to look forward. This will help you keep a side posterior tilt so that you don't injure your back, and it will help you get more engagement in your glutes. My next tip is to make sure that your shins hit a 45-degree angle when you reach the top of the movement. If your feet are too close, you will end up using your quads more, which is not what we want. Next, make sure you're at full hip extension at the top of the movement. Use your glutes to push your hips through all the way so you get a full range of motion. Push your heels so you can activate your glutes and not your quads. You can emphasize the activation by lifting your toes slightly off the ground, which I love to do. Lastly, pause at the top and squeeze your glutes so you can really get that engagement and get the tension of the movement. You can pause at the top for 1 second or even 10 seconds. Sometimes I even like to add a band around my knees to really increase the activation. Next is an elevated Romanian deadlift. So you'll be standing on something. I'm just standing on a 45-pound plate. So you'll just be keeping the bar as close to your body as possible. Don't let the bar swing in front of you at the bottom of the movement. You also want to make sure that you keep your neck and spine neutral. So please don't look up at yourself when you're doing this movement. I know, I like watching myself when I'm working out too, but you want to keep your neck neutral the entire time. Really push your hips out and feel this movement in your hamstrings. Really focus on that mind-muscle connection. Now, I don't like to come up all the way when I'm doing this movement. I personally like to keep the tension and keep a steady movement going rather than stopping and squeezing at the top like I would in a hip thrust. Here I'm going slowly just to show you guys the movement, but I don't squeeze my glutes at the top of this. This next movement is an elevated sumo deadlift. So I love doing this movement elevated or just normally on the floor, but I really love the connection that I get when I'm standing on top of something. For this movement, you're going to sit back and keep the weight on your heels, making sure that your butt doesn't come up first. Sometimes I do like to come up all the way and squeeze at the top like I'm doing here, and sometimes I won't come up all the way so I can keep the tension in my glutes. You know, just switch it up, do whatever you feel like doing that day, and incorporate a little bit of everything. Do high weight, do low weight. This next movement I like to call a kettlebell pull-through. I don't really like doing pull-throughs on the cables, so I do these instead, and I really like them. So for this movement, it's kind of like a sumo deadlift, but you're going to have your feet a little farther out with your toes pointed out, and you're also going to squat more. You're going to do this movement by keeping a neutral neck and spine and holding the dumbbell between your legs. You're going to squat down but also push back at the same time. I like to make sure the kettlebell comes in line with my heels, so I do push back pretty far. Then I come up slowly and squeeze at the top of the movement. Once you get more momentum with this movement, you're really going to start to feel the burn, which is why I love it so much. Okay, and the last one is definitely my favorite. It is the low bar squat. So I know a lot of people say that squats don't build your glutes, that they only build your quads, but this changes when you move the placement of the barbell to be a low bar squat. So what low bar means is that instead of placing the barbell high up on your traps, is that you're going to place the barbell lower on your back, right where your rear delts are. You're going to have a narrow grip. By holding the bar in this position, you're going to activate your posterior chain more, which are your glutes and your hamstrings, instead of using your quads. Now I also like to widen my stance a little further than shoulder width apart and point my toes out to make sure I'm using my glutes. Lastly, I keep all the tension in my glutes by not coming up all the way, so I don't lock out my knees when I come up. I stop right before I will lock out my knees, then I squat back down, making sure that I am hitting at least parallel. There's a time and a place to lock out your knees, but I feel like if you want to feel the burn in your glutes, that is not the place. So those are some exercises that I've been using to grow my glutes, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave it a like, thumbs up. Wait, that's the same thing. Oh my god. Subscribe, leave a comment down below, and follow me on Instagram. Okay, so obviously I'm a mess. I'm still new to this YouTube game, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.